Hey guys, and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. My name is Anders, and I will be your fellow student pilot today. Just a quick introduction. This is a fairly new channel, so as I said, my name is Anders. I'm a real-world pilot, currently flying business jets. I used to be a former airline pilot, but yeah, swapped jobs a few years ago. And of course, it all started here at flight training. So I thought with the new flight simulator coming out, I would give you guys some good advice, share my knowledge and my experience from when I did flight training. So what we're gonna start off today is, I already did the basic control and cameras. It's not really so much of a flight training, but more of a familiarization with flight simulator and the control scheme. So let's go ahead with attitudes and instruments and see how that works in the simulator. So I did a few of these lessons already, and I thought they were lacking some information. Of course, you can go ahead and do them, but the idea with this is I will try to show you how they're supposed to be flown, or how you would fly them at flight school, and what you should actually focus on, other than the thing that our lovely instructor Jess is telling us. So let's see how it goes, and if you guys like it, feel free to comment in the comment section below what you would like to see furthermore. I think we're going to just go through the whole training video by video, and yeah, if you like it, we'll do more for sure. Let's go fly.
Today we're talking about attitudes of flight, how your plane is oriented relative to the horizon. If you look outside, you can see the cockpit is just about 4 inches below the horizon line.
And that's the horizon, the cockpit is here.
We're flying straight with a decent rate of speed. This is the cruise attitude. Let's see how it reads on your instruments.
So just before we go to the instruments, I think this is the important stuff. How does the horizon look compared to the instrument board, to the dashboard here? Because that is a way bigger scale than the instrument we're about to go down and look, the artificial horizon. If you try to fly on that one in a flight sim, like in a small aircraft, you're gonna have a hard time. But what I use to fly level, the attitude outside, and especially this instrument down here, the vertical speed indicator. When that's at 0 feet, it means you're not climbing or you're not descending. So this is also a lot more instant than the altitude, the altimeter, which we're gonna go through in this lesson as well. But keep a look at the vertical speed. If that's at 0 and the outside horizon looks as it does now, the same, then you should be flying straight level. Anyway, let's go to what she says, control 1.
Take a look at the attitude indicator. As the name implies, it shows your current attitude. The white line is the horizon, with the sky above and the ground below. That orange element in the middle, aligned with the horizon, that's your plane. Just like we saw outside, our current attitude reads pretty much straight and level.
Yeah, so when you see it at this point,
okay, now let's see
it's
how much
right.
power the engine's generating. Check your tachometer.
Tachometer.
Looks like we're pushing around 2,300 revolutions per minute.
Yeah, 2,300.
Combined, attitude and engine RPMs translate to aircraft performance.
Again,
Which
look
leads
outside.
us to your airspeed indicator. Now, last but not least, check your altimeter. To figure out your altitude, you always want to read the small needle first. That's how many thousands of feet up you are. Then on to the big needle for the hundreds.
So we're at 6,000 feet.
With our current attitude and power output, we're holding a speed of 90 knots and a stable altitude of 6,000 feet.
And this...
But that's about to change. Take the stick when you're ready.
Okay, so let's get back to flying. Just shortly as well. Okay. This is the heading indicator. It shows if we're going west, north, east, south, and all in between. So just for now, let's go fly.
Pull back slightly on the yoke to raise the nose just above the horizon line. About 2 inches.
So I'm looking outside
Make sure
to
you
do
don't
this.
pitch up too much, or the angle will be too steep to create lift.
I'm
And
looking.
without enough lift, we'll stall.
Okay. So I'm looking outside,
All right.
comparing
Go
the dashboard.
Full throttle and start climbing.
Full throttle, she says. That's what we've done there. And let's lift the
Welcome
nose.
to the climb attitude.
There we go.
See how it shows up on your attitude indicator and tachometer? According to your altimeter, we're gaining altitude. But we're losing airspeed even at full throttle, proving you can't avoid basic physics while making a climb.
True story.
Okay, before we go on, let's get back to a cruise attitude. Ease up on the yoke and aim your nose just below the horizon. Then throttle back down to 2300 RPMs.
So that's about the attitude we had.
Nice job. We're
And
now set up with
2300.
the same attitude and power we had at the top of our lesson. Next up is the descent attitude. Start by reducing your RPMs to 1800. Then drop the plane's nose a bit further below the horizon.
Okay, when I reduce the throttle, the nose should automatically drop because of we're losing power and we're losing, the aircraft is not on what you call trim, so naturally it would want to descend. So I'm gonna reduce to around 1800 RPMs. It's about there, and I'm not touching the yoke. Naturally,
As
the aircraft
expected,
wants
with the
to
nose down attitude,
go down.
Our altitude is decreasing while our speed is picking up. Why don't you get us back to a cruise attitude and we'll hit the last part of our lesson.
Okay, let's aim for 6,000 feet again then. 2300 RPM.
There we go. Now that we know how to cruise, climb, and descend, let's talk about the turn attitude. Gently pull the yoke left or right to start rolling the plane.
Okay, let's go left. Once we go left, let's just go left without doing anything other than turning the yoke to the left. Then you'll see the aircraft wants to descend. So if we want to fly straight and level, again I'm looking at the vertical speed indicator and the altitude, but if we want to fly straight and level, we will need to pull back on the yoke. But initially I'm just gonna go left without.
If you take a look outside, you can see how our attitude's changed, but you can also check your instruments for the details. As a general rule, you always want to keep your turns under 30 degrees.
So I need to pull back as well.
At the top of your attitude indicator, there's a series of notches representing 10 degrees each. Use them to control your roll.
That's
Notice
these.
the more you turn, the more you need to pull back on the yoke to maintain altitude. When you're rolling out, you'll need to do the opposite. Roll and push at the same time. The more you know about the main attitudes of flight, the closer you get to that pilot state of mind. So keep practicing, and whenever you're done, pass me the controls.
Alright, we're gonna level out at a southerly heading, which is coming up. So as you said, I'm gonna release the back pressure and turn back to level 5. So I'm gonna turn and release, actually push a bit. And there we are. Heading south, flying straight and level. Let's just get back to 6,000 feet and then we're gonna do the same to the right. I'm just gonna pause here for a quick second and quickly explain the instruments, what I'm actually looking at. So what she said about the white lines is this indicates 10 degrees of bank, 20 degrees of bank, and 30 degrees of bank. So the instrument is made that, the big line is what you're aiming for, 30 degrees. And then, as I said earlier, we want to keep this at 0 feet per minute. So we need to pull back on the yoke. We need to keep this at 30, but it's a lot easier when you look outside. So what I want to teach you guys, let's just do a turn to the right this time, and then find something on the dashboard and compare it to the horizon line. I know for a fact, because I did this before, that this part here, when that's at 30 degrees bank, when we're 30 degrees bank, and this is more or less parallel or touching the horizon, we're maintaining straight and level. In a left turn, what I reference in this aircraft is the blue marker beacon, this little light here. When that's on the horizon line in a left turn, we're almost flying straight and level. But again, this is at this altitude with this power setting at 90 knots, 95 knots. But it's a lot easier to find something big to reference than to look on this tiny little instrument, especially in a flight simulator. But that's what you do in real life as well. You look outside. When you're holding this attitude, I could, cover up the instrument. I know I'm flying straight and level. So let's try that with a right turn. I'm gonna try to keep this on the horizon line, because then I know, because I did it before, that we should be flying straight and level. So let's go for a right turn, and here we go. So you see, I need to go to 30 degrees. There's 30 degrees, and you see I'm gonna hold that spot, just touching the horizon, and we're flying level flight, 6,000 feet maintaining. I'm pulling back on the yoke, but I'm just pulling back enough so I see this, it's touching the horizon line. So let's do the same with a left turn. I'm pushing a bit on the yoke, and let's go to the left. So that is 30 degrees, and as I said, yeah, the yellow light there on the dashboard, that's around the horizon, and we climbed a bit, but not much. So let's just get back to 6,000 feet, lower the nose slightly, and that's it, guys. Let's level out at a easterly heading this time, coming up to east. There we go. Push down, and we are flying east this time. So that's how we would do it in real life. I'm sure we're gonna discuss it more in the further lessons, but that was it. Basic controls and attitude. Let's give the controls back to our instructor, Jess.
Thanks. I've got control now. Well done.
Congratulations, that's the debriefing done. So that's the basic idea behind attitudes and instruments. Look outside, use the instrument for backup. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's head on to the next lesson in another video. So if you like it, comment below, subscribe for more content to come, and stay safe, keep flying.